And we're back. Welcome back to the Auto Authorities Podcast. I am Jay. This is Gerald coming to you live. We have an amazing show. We have insider dealer secrets. If you ever wanted to know, like, literally all the secrets from insiders, you're going to want to watch today or listen today because we're going to reveal all kinds of golden nuggets. But before we get going, I want to thank our sponsors, iAutoAgent.com. At iAutoAgent, they act as real estate agents for people's cars. When you want to sell your car and you don't want to do it yourself or go to the dealer, we'll do it for you. When you want to buy a vehicle and you don't want to go to the dealer, we'll do it for you. When you have a fleet of vehicles and you're a business owner that's so overwhelmed managing a fleet of vehicles and you don't want to do it, we'll do it for you. We'll take care of the buying of the fleet vehicles. We will maintain them at your place of business or the driver's homes off prime time hours, and we'll sell them for maximum profit. And if you are interested in any type of an extended warranty, reach out to the AutoAuthorities.com with a VIN and miles, and we will give you a quote at probably 50 to 60 cents on the dollar. If you're just tuning in and you want to watch us live, you can watch us on the Facebook group page. It is called the Auto Authorities, 12 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday. And you can also watch us on LinkedIn Live. If you want to watch us on our YouTube page, please, we ask you right now to subscribe to the Auto Authorities. Leave your comments below. And if you want to listen to us on like 19 different channels, go again to the autoauthorities.com. We're on Pandora, we're on iTunes, we're on Google Podcasts, you name it. And we are also on TV. And I'm going to let Gerald tell you a little bit about that and Wrestling Spotlight.
Yeah, thanks. We're on Shop Plus TV. You can see our shows throughout the week on that channel. Easiest way to get it is to download the True TV Plus app. If you have a Roku TV, if you have an Amazon TV, an Apple TV, it is right there, free to download. And then you have a tile right on the homepage when you turn your TV on, and you get access to Shop Plus TV with our show, and then Wrestling Spotlight channel that I program with independent wrestling from around the country, interviews with wrestlers and contributors. Like we recently talked to Aaron Stevens, formerly of the WWE, now in the NWA. He's managing the World Tag Team Champions there, Blunt Force Trauma. And we talked about his new podcast that he's doing with Tyrus, the former NWA champion, Trevor Murdoch, another former NWA champion, on Fox Nation, Tyrus and the Wise Men. So interesting new, I don't know, I guess platform for Aaron, one of the more interesting people to talk to in professional wrestling. That's on Wrestling Spotlight, and you can also get Fired Up Network for breaking sports news from around the country with reporters all around the country, all right there on True TV Plus, no charge. Get access to, I believe it's over 50 channels. So lots of great entertainment available right there for free on your TV. Trying to bring that cost down a little bit.
Speaking about bringing the cost down, we're going to teach people right now. We're going to start with used cars, how to find the very, very best deal on used cars, because this is a challenge to find an affordable used cars. But we're going to give you some techniques right now on how to do that. I'll let Gerald start.
Hey, I think one of the best ways right now to search for a pre-owned car, and we're not getting paid at all by any of these auto listing services, but I really do think Carfax is probably the best one to go to. And it's an auto listing service that, even though they run lots of ads with the Carfax, I don't think the majority of people realize that Carfax isn't just the report on your car. They list dealership inventory, and they list it with the Carfax history of the car right up on top, and they estimate how close that car is to Carfax value pricing. So it's different than Cars.com, than Kelley Blue Book, than Auto Trader, than Car Gurus. which all list their cars based off of, honestly, whatever dealership pays them the most money. Carfax is actually, I believe, and I could be wrong in this, but I believe it's the only one that is still just a true listing of the cars by value, not a pay to play. So that's the first thing. I would start out looking at the Carfax page or at the dealership's websites, because you're going to get a twisted view of the market looking at AutoTrader, looking at KBB, looking at cars.com or Car Gurus. They're just not honest brokers, I guess, of information anymore.
Yeah, I've noticed that probably more recently is if you're doing a search, even on Car Gurus, which is truly my favorite website to go to because I feel like it's better than Auto Trader as far as showing value. Because KBB, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of KBB. I'm all about like market, like what
Yeah.
is it worth as far as the market goes. But you will actually see that if you do a search on Car Gurus, you're going to see all these sponsored ads, and you don't even realize that they're sponsored. Sometimes it's I mean, it's very well hidden. And even like our cars, like at iAuto Agent, we are definitely under market value when we price our vehicles. We work on about a quarter to half the margin of a typical dealer.
Yeah.
But if you go and try to find one of our cars, it's going to get harder and harder to find unless, I mean, and we pay a lot of money just to be on the dealer side because we have our dealer's license. But it just like Gerald says, it is a pay to play. Facebook's the same way, like
Sure.
everything's the same way. I frankly haven't looked into Carfax to see how accurate the values were. It didn't used to be very accurate, but what you're saying makes sense because if Carfax is selling vehicles as a marketplace, they're taking all the different prices and they can figure out an algorithm, and they can come pretty darn close to what that vehicle should go for. So
Sure.
that's a very, very good tip, Gerald.
Well, and they're not selling the cars directly.
No,
You
it's a
have to be a
marketplace.
dealer, and
No, it's a
it's punched
marketplace.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of people even realize it's out
Mm-mm.
there. And here, you just mentioned them. I don't think people realize that AutoTrader and KBB are the same company.
No, I don't think people realize that. And that, I mean, so Cox Automotive is the big umbrella. So they own Auto Trader, they own KBB, they own Manheim Auctions,
Yep.
they own, there's a couple other like dealer products that they own as well. I mean, they're freaking huge. And also, like, for everybody to know, because it's interesting you say that, because I had somebody come to me the other day and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I've been looking for a car and I put a message in on Auto Trader and I have been blasted by
Sure.
every dealership in the world." And I said, "You know what? Exactly, because that is just a lead generation
That's all it is. Yep.
machine." And that's why you call iAuto Agent and do our vehicle finder program nationwide, because you don't have to deal with that crap. And I'm telling you right now, it's just like, I don't know if Lending Tree is still around, but back
Yeah.
in the day, Lending Tree, you put in looking for the best mortgage and you're like, oh, I'm going to find the best one. Well, you're going to get blasted
Yep.
by multiple, and they pay big money for your information.
Sure. Sure. And that was the market, right? Now, from a consumer point of view, and all the websites are fine. I mean, they all got information, but if you're looking for a specific car, honestly think the best thing to do, if you find the car that you're interested in on one of those sites, take it to the dealership site and then call the dealership directly. And I would go the next step up and ask to talk to a department manager, because you may well find that you can get all your questions answered and pretty much have your deal done just in one talk if it's a dealership that's set up to allow the managers to directly talk to the customers.
That's exactly what we do in our vehicle finder program. We go directly to the manager or somebody that can make a decision. However, here's the reality of that. most managers are not answering the phone for just anybody.
Yep.
They have so many gatekeepers because now everybody's trying to just talk to the manager. So one of the best things to do, couple things, you can go to the reviews and look at who's getting reviews and what the name is said in the reviews. So if you see a commonality that, Bobby is the best salesperson I've ever worked with, Bobby did this, Bobby did that. That shows that Bobby probably knows what he's doing, and Bobby will probably get you that information. Because I always say when you go to a dealership, car salespeople are like a box of chocolates. You never know which one you're gonna get. And
Sure.
if you get the new guy, which is not the worst thing, but the new guy is going to keep you there a lot longer. He'll work harder for you probably because he wants that deal better than the veteran, guy smoking and, in the front of
Mm-hmm.
the, near the coffee. But truly, I mean, those are some really, really good insider tips as far as like really taking this long process and just getting it much quicker.
So here, now let's take it up one more level.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at pre-owned cars. There's lots and lots of dealerships out there that stacked up on pre-owned cars last year because it seemed like there was still going to be a huge shortage of new cars. Well, new car inventory is coming up. Interest rates haven't dropped down. So a lot of those used cars that the dealerships bought and paid a lot of money for now aren't a very good value because they're close in price to the new car. The new cars have special rates. You can't finance a used car at a rate anywhere close to that. Financing the used cars, with excellent credit in the sevens. New cars you may be able to get, depending on the model, 2, 3, 4%. Those used cars are becoming way less saleable. They bought them in a lot of times last year.
Yep.
Take a look at a Carfax report or an auto check report. Go into the vehicle history and see when that vehicle was offered for sale. I just pulled one up at random. 2021 Mazda CX-30 Select. Nice car. Little all-wheel drive SUV.
Yep.
One owner. It was a fleet car.
Mm-hmm.
In Oklahoma and Tennessee, so not in horrible weather. So this would be a good vehicle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mazda with about, and these are what program cars are getting now, about 60,000 miles on it. It's got 58,200 miles on it. It was sold and offered for sale on January 26th. So if you're a customer and you see the car was purchased and offered for sale in January, that car is already in the danger zone for the used car dealership because they want that car gone in 90 days. That's your turn ratio that they need to move it on. And this car's already crossed that 90-day mark. So this would be a car that you could probably go in and negotiate on pretty hard.
The other piece that you can do on that note on a used car is you can go into Car Gurus and you can see not only when it was listed, but you can see the price it was listed and you can see if they've had drops. And truly, like, if you are looking for a good deal on a car, which I haven't met anybody that's not, you can really take advantage of those types of things. Also, going into new cars, just like Gerald said, that these used cars are sitting out there. And the reason why is because now we're starting to see incentives on new cars again. So we're going to share with you a couple golden nuggets of amazing deals on new cars right now. And the first one is Stellantis, Jeep, Chrysler, all Dodge. Like, you can literally walk in there and they'll do like anything to sell a vehicle. They have so much inventory. And if you have a used one that you're trying to sell, be prepared to hold on to that for a really, really long time because nobody's buying them.
No, not right now. Well, here, what they're doing right now at your Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram dealerships, and this is something that's pretty interesting. It ties into a topic we talked about earlier. Anything that's an electrified vehicle, they have a plug-in hybrid version of the Wrangler. It's called the 4xe. How much rebate do you think there is if you lease a 4xe Wrangler right now?
I know how much there is, so I won't say.
Almost $13,000 of rebate.
Mm-hmm.
You put $13,000 on a 3-year lease, that's making a huge impact.
Oh, it's insane. I mean, you would be crazy to buy a used Jeep right now because they are worth nothing. I mean, there's going to be such an oversupply of Jeeps right now that it's going to last for a really, really long time. What other vehicles are you seeing, Gerald, that you?
Well, I just want to add one more thing on Jeep
Oh,
because you'd be glad to know that the minds in charge of the Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram dealerships, they heard what you were saying, that there's an oversupply. They heard you. They have an answer. They got it fixed. Here's what they're doing.
oh,
This has been filtering out over the last week from Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram dealerships. Genius, right? The dealerships are turning down new inventory because they have too much inventory. So what they did at Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is they're pulling the money that the dealerships were getting for quality customer surveys, and instead they're giving them money if they take extra cars. So, hey, you can't sell the Rams you have. Why don't you buy another 50 that we have conveniently sitting here, and we'll give you $75,000 to, do what you want with it. So the dealerships are getting money now, almost like a bribe, if you will, an offer you can't refuse. Here, get yourself something nice. In exchange for taking more new cars. So
yeah,
that means they're going to have some extra money to play with in addition to the laundry list of rebates that's available on every Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram to try and get rid of some of those cars.
yeah. It's unbelievable. I mean, there's
So,
cars
yeah,
back at 20. I think they even aren't there some 22s still out there for like
there
Grand Wagoneers?
yeah, there are some 2022
Oh,
new Grand Wagoneers. Here, let's do a little live check-in. Let's see if there are any out here. This will be fun. What do you think? Do you think we'll see any?
oh, absolutely, I do. I think you're going
Let's
to see a lot of them,
go.
no doubt about it.
By chance, are you in the market for a nice $100,000 eight
Grand
mile
Wagon.
a gallon SUV?
Yeah, exactly.
Just checking.
And then also, I was at a Stellantis dealer while you're doing that, and I was talking to the manager, and they have an amazing lease deal on Jeep Grand Cherokees.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good looking piece, man. I mean, I'll tell you, that's one thing with Stellantis. They are really nice looking vehicles, probably one of the nicest looking vehicles out there. Um, and he's like, yeah, he goes, there's an amazing lease deal. I think you can get one, well, depending on how much money you have down and whatnot, in the under $500 a month.
Wow. Um, 157 new 2023 Grand Wagoneers available in 250. So basically, the circle from where you and I are, I set it to the center of the state. Where you're in
157.
St. Louis, I'm in Kansas City.
Right.
I set it to the center of the state of Missouri. I found 257. So
Wow.
basically, just right here, right in the MIZZOU area, 257 new 2023 Grand Wagoneers. So you think you can get a deal on those? Yeah, you can.
Well, here's another good golden nugget insider dealer secret. So if you're out of equity, so let's say you owe more money on your vehicle than what it's worth. These are perfect vehicles that you can hide that in equity and get out of that vehicle that you're in right
Oh yeah.
now if you don't want it anymore. This is really between that and EVs, that is almost your only chance to get the big, big money. Now, there are other makes and models out there that have incentives on vehicles, some of the Ford trucks and whatnot. But these are actually, some of them are fairly reasonable. Like, so like, you might, a Jeep Compass or something
Yeah.
like that, I mean, those are fairly reasonable vehicles. So truly, if you're out of equity, that's a perfect way to hide that money, get out of that vehicle that you hate or whatever, and move on.
Yeah. If you can swing the payment,
Yeah,
your way out is to lease a big SUV or truck.
if you can.
And yeah, and then that way you get it on a 36-month lease, all your equity's gone, and you get to about 24, 25 months in, you should be able to trade out of it. If you
Take
swing it to a loan, you're stuck for another 5 years.
Yep. And take it from me and Gerald. I'm over 27 years into this. He's somewhere in the 23, 24, 25 years.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty close. Yeah.
it's like we know what we're talking about. That's why we do this every single week and give you guys those tips. Please leave your comments below if you have any questions. Subscribe to the YouTube, the Auto Authorities page, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Peace.